Hey guys, just a quick update for the channel. I'm still planning on doing limited content. It's what's been most popular on this channel by far recently and has been getting a lot of traction with Double Masters. Expect more Double Masters upcoming as long as the queues keep firing. I had a little bit of trouble with that today, and it's one reason why you're not seeing a Double Masters draft video today. I did do a Chaos draft. I will not be posting. It was abysmal. I didn't know what I was doing. I just got curb stomped every game, and it wasn't interesting to watch. So, we're going to be doing a little bit of constructed content. We're going to be playing modern Monogreen Tron today. I don't have a ton of time to record, so we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. I hope you guys enjoy. This, one of my most viewed videos in recent time has been a Monogreen Tron Constructed League that I posted ages ago, and it still is in like my top 10 videos for views months and months and months later. So I expect this is kind of what people search for and or want to see. So we'll be doing that. I'm planning on doing more modern jank content. We had a lot of fun last stream with Lavinia, Knowledge Pool, Teferi combo, and Battle of Wits was a lot more powerful with Bone Daddy's contributions. So expect some modern jank constructed content coming up, but we're going to do constructed content for today. Alright, this hand is good, but I think we can mulligan and do better, especially on the draw. So one of the tricks to playing modern green Tron, besides just top decking really well, is knowing how to mulligan and mulliganing hard for a good hand. Like, going to 5 is not unheard of and is not even really that bad. I'm going to keep this hand. I'm going to put back Sanctum and Thragtusk. If we draw a Chromatic Star and we Chromatic Star into another Tron land, this hand is just natural Tron. If we don't, we have turn 4 Tron into Karn, which versus Ad Nauseam could be decent, if this is Ad Nauseam. That's the only deck I know that plays Temple of Deceit. Fun fact, while playing Ad Nauseam, because I used to play Ad Nauseam pretty frequently, I think one of the only recorded 5-0s I have is with Ad Nauseam. Despite Ad Nauseam having an amazing Tron matchup, I think I lost every single time I played Tron in paper Ad Nauseam. I did a lot better on Moto, but just like, I don't know if it was because I was more inexperienced or what the deal was when I was playing the deck in paper. Because now I get to see what that matchup is like from reverse. I mean, the closest current approximation to it, so we'll see what happens. Our opponent did put one card on the bottom of their library, which means they might have a bad hand here. If they're playing Ad Nauseam, they're going to be trying to... they're probably having a little bit of difficulty sequencing their lands or deciding which cantrip they want to play, if they have any of those things. Okay, so opponent plays another Temple of Deceit. They scry another card to the bottom. So we're hoping to draw a Tron piece. If we draw a Tron piece, we just have natural Tron. And then we can play Karn and just start taking all their lands. And as long as you keep Ad Nauseam off of like 6 mana, you should be fine. I believe they need 6 mana to combo, 4 mana for Angel's Grace Spoils. Angel's Grace Spoils Thassa's Oracle is their like minimum combo. Tron piece. Let's go. Show me that top deck luck. That is not what I asked for. So play a forest, Sylvan Scrying. We'll go and get a mine. Pass the turn. There was some notion that maybe I should have grabbed Blast Zone in case my opponent was on a super slow Ad Nauseam hand, but at the same time, if they're on a super slow Ad Nauseam hand, Blast Zone and Karn have about the same utility, and Karn has more sticking power, so we're going for the Karn right now. When it plays a Darkslick Shores, they are a Simian Spirit Guide away from Angel's Grace Ad Nauseam. 3 mana. Phyrexian Unlife, okay. They pass turn, we draw. Ugin the Spirit Dragon. Players is mine. We'll go and get Tower now. Pass the turn. So opponent, if they have an untapped land or a Simian Spirit Guide, does have enough mana to combo. Ad Nauseam is a really hard matchup for Tron. If we just natural Tron into Karn and we're on the play, that should be too fast for Ad Nauseam to deal with. But I don't know what the current tech choices for Ad Nauseam are, or the current lines. Like, Ad Nauseam is the deck I have played the most. I have something around like 1,500 games or so with playing Ad Nauseam through between paper and Moto. I don't know how much the deck has changed. I haven't even looked at it in recent memory because the last time I played Ad Nauseam, the meta was so terrible for Ad Nauseam. Okay, opponent only has 3 cards in hand. So, let's see. What do we do here? Draw power plant, play tower. Tron achieved. I think we play Karn and take Unlife. Opponent has enough mana that they're going to be fine doing whatever they want. Taking Unlife means they have to have another one, or they have to have an Angel's Grace in their hand. Since our opponent has so much mana and we can't really deny them off of it, plussing Karn might actually be more potent here than minusing Karn. Especially if they just keep playing lands, because then they're not protecting whatever other cards are in their hand. If you can get an Ad Nauseam player down to 1 card in hand without an Unlife on the board, they have a bad time. Okay. We untap. Opponent is trying to do something on our upkeep. I'm trying to think of what it could be. We draw a Blast Zone. Okay. It could be correct to attack mana. But I'm gonna plus Karn this turn. So, opponent not playing a land if they have one. Depending on what we see exiled here is going to give me a little bit more information about what's going on. My opponent, like I said, is 1 mana off of Angel's Grace Ad Nauseam having the full combo. Opponent pitches an Angel's Grace. Okay, that tells me that they have at least, like, they probably have an Ad Nauseam in hand, and they're just a mana off of casting it, which means I should be trying to disrupt their mana as soon as possible. We're going to crack map here. We're going to get a Sanctum of Ugin. We are going to play Sanctum of Ugin, and then play Wormcoil Engine. So if my opponent draws dead for a couple of turns here, if they draw dead this turn, we can attack their mana, play Ugin, fetch up Ulamog, and that should end the game. Opponent has stopped on our end step. This could be a Desperation Spoils, or a quote-unquote value Ad Nauseam. Okay, they decide against doing anything. Opponent draws. They play a Temple of Deceit. They put a card on the bottom. That's good. It means they haven't found whatever they're looking for yet. Okay. We untap. We draw a Chromatic Sphere. We currently have 9 mana. We can get up to 11 with Power Plant. Start Chromatic Sphere. Crack for green. Okay, Dismember could be important here. So we're going to play Ugin. We will sack Sanctum of Ugin. And we will get Ulamog's Ceaseless Hunger. Ugin resolves. We're going to exile their planes. Shoot them for 3. And then attack for 6. So if we're not dead this turn, next turn we will be Karning exile. We will activate Karn to exile Pentad Prism if they don't play a white land, because we need to keep them off of white mana. Dismember is something we can do. If our opponent combos, it doesn't win. Like, Dismember does not interrupt the combo because they'll be holding like 3 packs of negation, but it might do something. I'm not sure here, actually. I don't think it actually does anything. Thinking about that a little harder. Alright, cool. We were able to disrupt our opponent's mana in hand enough that they were unable to win given our clock. Cool. Okay. So the good news is we're main decking Karn, which shuts off all of their artifact mana. We're bringing in Wilt, Nature's Claim, ×2. What do we take out for that? Oh, and definitely bringing in Emrakul here. So the question is, what do we take out in this matchup? We don't need Amulet of Safekeeping. We don't need Ensnaring Bridge or Transfer or any of those other singleton artifacts. So we're going to cut Wormcoils, simply because Wormcoil, while it does gain us a bunch of life, and that does protect us from something like Lightning Storm has kind of fallen out of favor from what I remember. Like, because they have Thassa's Oracle, which just wins the game on Enter the Battlefield, and they have Labman that just says win the game, and it doesn't require targeting your opponent or anything dumb like that. I'm going to cut 2 Dismembers, and I'm going to bring in Thragtusk. No other changes, we'll run it back like this. So my thought process is, if they are going to try and win with Lightning Storm or damage somehow, Thragtusk is better than Wormcoil Engine because it gives us something immediately upon entering the battlefield. If they are desperation and they have to start slaughter pacting things like that, then we'll get a 3/3 out of it. I don't know. All right, we're gonna keep this. We have 2 Tron pieces, a Chromatic Star, and an Ancient Stirrings, which is a fantastic start. The only way that this could be better is if we were on the play instead of on the draw. But on the draw, still not bad. We'll see how fast our opponent's hand is. This is a turn 3 Karn. Alright, opponent exiles Lotus Bloom. Plays a land, which is Seachrome Coast, and casts Serum Visions. Let's see what they do with the Scries. Topping a card here is a little bit scary. 1 card on the bottom, 1 card on the top. Okay. We will have to keep an eye on this Lotus Bloom. I'm really hoping we draw 4 mana Karn. Okay, we untap. We draw Nature's Claim. Oops. Play Chromatic Star. Put the 2 green 1 mana spells next to each other in our hand for maximum punt capability. Alright, Lotus Bloom ticks down. One of the things I used to like about Modern is it let you play with Power 9 cards with heavy restrictions. Like if you played Ad Nauseam, you could play Lotus. You could play Black Lotus. You just had to wait 4 turns for it. If you play Mill, you can play Ancestral Recall. And it used to be if you played Affinity, you could play Mox, like a Mox, because you had Mox Opal. But that's not really the case anymore for that one. I don't know. All right, we draw another Ancient Stirrings. So we're going to crack for green. Okay, another Nature's Claim, Ancient Stirrings. We do find a Power Plant. Okay, rest of the bottom any order. Play Power Plant, pass the turn. So the bad news is we don't have green mana. The good news is we will have a Karn. So how does this go wrong? Opponent suspends another Lotus Bloom. This goes wrong if my opponent can Pact of Negation Karn into Angel's Grace Ad Nauseam, win the game. That's how this goes wrong. So play Urza's Tower, play Karn. It also goes wrong if my opponent's hand is untapped land, Angel's Grace Ad Nauseam. Which, since my opponent is playing the Temple version of the deck, I don't know how likely it is they have a 4th untapped land, because usually they max out and run 6 to 8 temples between Temple of Deceit and Temple of Enlightenment. Once again, my knowledge is outdated. That's just the best that I have right now. Okay, opponent pacts. We pass. Now, if they have to use Lotus Bloom to pay for Pact, that's excellent. That's wonderful news for us. If they stack the triggers wrong, they lose, unless they have Angel's Grace. Okay. They do not stack the triggers wrong. They get a Lotus Bloom. So, if we draw another Karn, or if we draw... Oh god, okay. Well, the Angel's Grace. What's their last card in hand? Is it Ad Nauseam? Opponent's 3 cards were the 3 ideal cards. The first line I called out, which was Pact of Negation, Angel's Grace, Ad Nauseam. I cannot tell you the number of times I have done that to my opponent. So, fair game. Opponent knew the line, and got lucky enough to have it. So... Given that there wasn't a line we could take to have played around this, I'm gonna, like, opponent showed me Thassa's Oracle. I'm gonna make them win. I just want to see how they win nowadays. But there was no line we could take that actually did anything. If we played, if we just kept the star out and tried to Nature's Claim, they would have just gone off in response. Like, that's the power of Ad Nauseam. It's an instant speed combo once they have enough mana. Okay, opponent does not have to pay this. Did they reveal Lightning Storm? They did. They are going to try and Lightning Storm us. So, fun fact, if you cast Lightning Storm without maintaining priority, you lose. Because you only do 3 damage. Almost certainly my opponent has enough lands to kill me. I am going to go play it out and try and redirect Lightning Storm because we are holding a tower for swag. But, opponent almost certainly has us here. You never know, they could F6. There was no reason for them to try and win with just Pact of Negation here. Okay, so we're going to let the activated ability of Lightning Storm resolve. Okay, we'll discard Urza's Tower. Activating in response is not how you do this, because the way that the abilities resolve, I will get to pick the target last. Okay. And of course, because our opponent is holding their entire deck, they have enough lands to redirect. Still always correct to try. You never know. Especially on Moto, someone could click through the phases, make a play mistake. Lightning Storm is a very tricky spell. Alright, and with that said, let's run it back. This time we will be on the play, and this time if we have a turn 3 Karn, it should be fast enough. We will play first. I'm going to take a quick sip from my massive Gatorade bottle, and I'm going to mulligan this. Alright. So we mulligan. Incredibly risky. Payoff here is really high. I think we gotta go to 5, though. Alright. We're gonna keep, and we're gonna put back Mine in a Forest. Opponent mulliganed to 6 cards, which is really good news for us. I don't know how well Ad Nauseam mulligans nowadays. I haven't played it with the London... I don't even think the last time I played it with the London Mulligan rule. That's how long ago I played it. It seems like a deck that generally benefits from the change in Mulligan rules. Oh, man. I'm gonna have to pop my back after this. Opponent suspends Lotus Bloom, plays a tap land. Alright, Tron. Show me the luck of the Tron. Show me the thing all non-Tron players fear. Show me the tower. Okay, that's not the tower. Good try, though, Tron. If my opponent's relying on Lotus Bloom mana and doesn't have a Pact of Negation this time around, even a turn 4 Karn might be fast enough. Kind of depends on what they play for a land here, if they've got a land. Opponent did mulligan. Okay, cool. They have a Gemstone Mine. Show me the tower! Damn. Play a Forest, Ancient Stirrings. Yeah, we'll take an Expedition map. Play a map. This will be a turn 5 Tron. Turn 5 Karn. If we draw 4 mana Karn, or we top deck a tower, we should be fast enough. If we had top decked a tower that turn, our opponent would not have the luxury of Pact of Negation into the full amount of mana. So we untap. Show me 4 mana Karn or the tower. Oh, it's Karn liberated. What can you do? Crack map. Get a tower. Play a tower. Pass the turn. We had 2 opportunities to draw a tower. We did not either time. Odds are my opponent does have the combo here, which is really unfortunate, but it just really came down to the luck of the draw. I don't think we made any wrong decisions this game. You could argue keeping the 1-lander Chromatic Star 4-mana Karn was correct. I do not think that hand had a great chance of winning. Angel's Grace spoils. They name Abandon Reason. You're supposed to name Abandon All Hope, opponent. And we lose to Thassa's Oracle. Well, that's kind of a disappointing round 1, but I hope my commentary was insightful for those of you who play Ad Nauseam, or play against Ad Nauseam, or play Tron. But I will see you all in round 2. Hopefully we do a little bit better. Tron, like I said, does not have a great matchup versus Ad Nauseam. Alright. Round 2, here we go. Natural Tron, no payoff. But this is Tron. We keep hands that have natural Tron. I'm going to start stomping ground, and if this is Ponza, I'm going to be upset. When it suspends Search for Tomorrow, it's probably Scape Shift. Okay, we draw Ulamog. That will be a payoff for Tron. It'll be a turn 4 payoff. Also, if this is the Uro deck, which, what is it? MTG Goldfish has listed as Uro Piles, because it's just any modern deck that has Uro in it that's vaguely Teamer or Bant. Alright, opponent plays Soccer Tribe Elder. This is probably Valakut Breach, considering they are only red-green right now. We will play a tower, pass the turn. But yeah, if this was Uro Piles, Tron actually seems to have a pretty great matchup against it. I've played against it twice and just utterly obliterated it both times. But this looks like Valakut Breach, considering they're only getting... or Valakut Shift, or whatever it's called. It looks like they're only green-red, so... No Uro, no Cryptic, nothing we gotta worry about, just 2 big mana decks fighting each other. Okay, crack map, get a power plant, untap, draw Karn. Great Creator. Play Karn. Downtick Karn. So I'm trying to think if there's anything other than liquid metal coating we should get here. There's an argument for Ensnaring Bridge, but not with this hand. So we're just going to get liquid metal coating. Tap the tower. Play a star. Play liquid metal coating. And pass the turn. Okay, on my opponent's upkeep, we will turn Stomping Ground into an artifact to take them off of 1 mana. And if we top deck a tower in our top 2 cards, we just play an Ulamog and we win. Opponent plays a second Dryad. Attacks Karn for 2. No blocks. We'll take 1. Karn will go to 1, excuse me. Oh, we top deck Big Karn. Big Karn, pretty good. So, what do we do here? We play we cycle for green. Draw a card. So if we draw a tower, we still play Ulamog. Can we get another Karn Great Creator? Sylvan Scrying. Get tower. Play tower. Nuke a land. Play Karn. Nuke a land. We're not taking them off of red mana, or we're not taking them off of green mana because our opponent's lands are all 5 colors, but we are taking them off of casting any bigger spell. So opponent top decked a land. So odds are they kill Karn Great Creator here, and then they attack big. They could just double attack Big Karn because Big Karn is pretty threatening. All right, double attack Big Karn. We untap. We draw a 3rd tower. Tron the Tron. Tronius Tron. Tron, my opponent. Kill Snow-Covered Mountain. We currently have 11 mana. Make that 14. Or 13. Play Ulamog. Exile this. And you know what? That too. Now my opponent only has red mana. And opponent concedes. So, that be how the Tron do. Just remember, if all else fails, draw Tron and Ulamog. It's just really how it goes sometimes. This deck is almost frustrating when it comes to top deck luck, because you will top deck insane things if you play Tron. And if you're me, 99% of the time, you will top deck nothing and be completely anemic. Really, it's how good is your top deck luck. And mad respect to anyone who plays Tron on Moto. Because the Moto Shuffler being better at randomizing than your average player sometimes makes it more difficult. So what do we do versus Valakut Breach? I think we're going to bring in Nature's Claims and Wilt. All 3 of those cards hit their ramp enchantment guy. If they have Colony Heart Expedition, it hits Colony Heart Expedition. And I really think that's about it. So we're also going to cut 2 Worm Coils. Thragtusk I like a little bit better than Worm Coil in this matchup. And I kind of want to cut Kozilek, but any large giant Eldrazi threat's probably good enough. I'm going to cut a Thragtusk, actually. We're going to try it like this. So hopefully I did not make myself too threat limited. If we get to the point where we're playing Tron and have nothing to play, then you'll know that I've succeeded. Okay, this hand is very tempting. We're on the draw. We have 2 Chromatic Stars and a Tron piece and a Karn. I think we can do better with 6, though. Yeah, no, this is how you win games. This is exactly what you do. You just mulligan to 6, get Tron, Karn your opponent to death, and win. We even have a Nature's Claim if they have an early Colony Heart. It's just like, this is how you play Tron. You get Tron and win. We do have to watch out for land destruction. We do have to watch out for, what is it called? The 4 mana Sowing Salts that's not Sowing Salts, that's from Battle for Zendikar, that's devoid, that I can't think of right now. Why can't I think of it? But you all know what I'm talking about. Crumbling something. It's still escaping me. Okay, opponent plays Steve. How's it going, Steve? We untap. We draw Expedition Map. So we're going to play Power Plant, we're going to play Expedition Map, and we're going to pass the turn. Opponent will have, at minimum, 4 mana, potentially 5 mana next turn. Okay. Opponent cracks Steve, gets a land. They got something they want to play. Okay, Search for Tomorrow coming off Suspend. Yeah, don't be afraid to mulligan if you're playing Tron. If your opening hand sucks, go to 6. If that hand sucks, go to 5. Like, literally, don't be afraid of going low. Monvuli Acid Moss. Well, that kind of sucks, but at the same time, what can I say? We're playing Tron. We do have a map. Opponent gets a forest. Now, if we get surgical, that's tilting. Okay, we untap. Draw power plant, play power plant. Pass the turn. Opponent will need another land destruction spell to keep us off of Tron. Crack for green, see what we draw. Get a power plant. Okay, opponent gets a zombie. Gets another zombie. We untap. Alright. Opponent has land destruction tribal. Play a tower. Pass the turn. Opponent will likely draw something to kill us before we can assemble Tron at this point. Primeval Titan definitely kills us before we can assemble Tron. So the only way we could possibly get out of this is if we can somehow get to Tron and play like Ensnaring Bridge and our opponent like not having a Braid or another beast with him. But the odds of us winning this game are almost zero. Like single digit percent, maybe even tenths of a percent. We draw Thragtusk, play power plant, pass the turn. Opponent got double Valakuts. Yeah, alright. I'm just gonna concede. We're gonna go to game 3. We're basically just dead there. Double Acid Moss, Beast Within. That's pretty good. We could bring in Crucible of Worlds. I don't like it though. No, just run it back. It's possible we should not be playing Nature's Claims. We should just be playing Worm Coils. I don't know if my opponent cited out the 3-mana enchantment Exploration Prismatic Omen guy, but it kind of looks like and feels like they did. Alright, we're going to keep this. We have 2 maps. We have Chromatic Star, Ancient Stirrings, so hopefully that gets us there. Opponent does mulligan to 6. Play Urza's Mine, play Chromatic Star. Map is better if we drew a Tron piece, but I've got a feeling we're not going to, so Ancient Stirrings is almost certainly correct. Opponent starts tap land. That's kind of a good sign. Crack for green. Draw a card. Okay, it's Karn. Ancient Stirrings, see if we can hit a Tron piece. We do. It's Tower. Rest of the bottom. Play the Tower. Play Expedition Map. Pass the turn. Okay. Opponent plays a Mountain. Play Steve. They will have Monvuli Acid Moss mana next turn, and we don't have a way to stop that. We untap. Draw Ugin. Was kind of hoping to draw a power plant, but I mean, we can't always have it, right? So we tutor for power plant here. Play power plant. Play Chromatic Sphere. Crack it for green. And play map. Pass the turn. So if our opponent does not have a land destruction spell here, which they almost certainly do, I'd put it at 95%, especially because they mulliganed. But if they don't, they're in deep trouble. Yep. So get rid of the tower. If we top deck a tower, they could still be in trouble. It is possible. There it is. The Troniest Tron that ever troned. Tronally. Take a land. Pass the turn. Okay, opponent plays a land. They Summoner's Pact for Soccer Tribe Elder. They play a Soccer Tribe Elder and a Dryad of the Elysian Grove. Okay. We draw. Chromatic Star. Let me think about this. Is there a way we can take them off of double green mana? We would have to destroy 3 lands this turn, and I think the best we can take is 2. So we could plus Karn, take a card out of their hand. We can minus Karn, kill Karn. I think plussing is better. We can play Karn, wish for... let's see. We could tick down Karn on a land. Then we could play Karn, wish for Liquid Metal Coating, and take them off of another land. They do have to pay for Summoner's Pact next turn, so it's not like they can do a whole lot. I think just taking them off of 1 mana is enough. So we're going to plus Karn, because our opponent is going to be... they have to pay 4 mana next turn. We get a Primeval Titan. Okay. Play Karn. Wish. We will use his ability. I think I'm going to take Crucible of Worlds, actually. My opponent is not doing a lot on 2 mana next turn. Crucible lets us get around their land destruction. Trinisphere prevents them from casting anything. Maybe we take Trinisphere this turn. We can't get low enough to get Ensnaring Bridge here. There's nothing we can do to take their last card out of their hand. I think I'm going to get Liquid Metal Coating. It's just the safest. Play a Blast Zone. Play Star. Play Star. Pass the turn. Okay, opponent's upkeep. We're going to let them pay for Pact first. Then we're going to prevent them from using one of their remaining lands. Okay. Opponent currently only has 1 mana and 2 cards in hand. They have 2 mana and 1 card in hand. They attack Babikarn. We get a Dismember, which I think actually does significantly change the line. So we use Tower, crack and get a Tower, play a Tower, Dismember, take our opponent's last card in hand, it was Scapeshift. Okay, start blowing up lands. Play Ugin. Shoot our opponent with Ugin. Alright, I believe that was a productive turn. Okay, opponent plays a Castle Garenbrig. We draw tower number 3. Shoot our opponent. Coating Garenbrig. Kill Garenbrig. Kill Forest. Play tower. Pass the turn. We get to ult an Ugin. Opponent concedes. In the face of an Ugin ultimate. Nice. Alright, round 3. Alright, this hand is unkeepable, so we're going to go to 6. A mine, a sphere, and a map, along with an Ancient Stirrings, might be good enough. We're on the draw, so I think I'm going to keep. I want to drop Ulamog out of this hand. Opponent starts Flooded Strand. We draw another map. Play Sphere. So opponent is probably blue-white control. They could be spirits. They could be Jeskai. There's a lot of things right now. Hallowed Fountain tapped. Probably control. Okay, opponent untaps and draws. Plays a Glacial Fortress. Stoneforge? Stoneforge. Alright. Is this a Feast and Famine or a Batterskull? So best possible scenario, in our next 2 draws, we draw a different Tron piece and we Ancient Stirrings and hit the 3rd. Okay, opponent does get a Batterskull. Draw Wormcoil. Crack for green. Ancient Stirrings. We do not hit a Tron piece. So we're going to take O-Stone. Play a forest, play map, pass the turn. Okay? This is not how we hoped this hand would go. We had 7 draws there to hit a Tron piece, and we did not. And our opponent has field, so we will not be Tronning for a very long time. Okay, we draw a forest, play a forest, play O-Stone. This might force a counter. O-Stone's kind of difficult for them to deal with while it's on board. Okay, opponent puts Batterskull onto the battlefield. It's alive. Opponent plays a Mystic Sanctuary tapped, gets in for 5, presumably, unless they're holding a Sword of Feast and Famine. Okay, we draw a Power Plant. Play Power Plant. I don't think we play Karn. I think we just pass. If my opponent activates field, I activate O-Stone. We get a forest. Blow up the world. Okay. Opponent is now down their clock. They play a colonnade. That is a clock. We draw Ulamog, so play Expedition Map, pass the turn. We're going, actually, let me just main phase this. We're going to go get a mine and play it. Pass the turn. When it draws 2 cards off of Archmage's Charm, I'm glad I did not run out Karn the Great Creator. My opponent is probably going to have counterspells now, which is kind of unfortunate, but we're getting to the amount of mana that counterspells don't really matter. Play Karn, definitely getting countered. Mana leak, yep. Okay, pass the turn. If we draw a tower, we have Ulamog, we can exile Colonnade and a land, a different land, which would be very useful. We draw Karn Liberated. We'll try another Karn Great Creator. Okay, opponent has Snapcaster for Mana Leak, I suppose. Yep, that's fine. So we just need to draw a tower. We need to draw a tower, we need to have Ulamog exile some stuff, and then we just need to start running out threat after threat. Okay? Opponent does have another Field of Ruin. They decide to do it immediately, which is good, they should. We get our 4th forest, we have no more forests. We untap. Draw Expedition Map. Play Expedition Map. Crack Map. Get Mine. Play Mine. And still hope to draw a tower. If we don't draw tower, we're hoping to draw 4 mana Karn and have it resolve. Okay, opponent cycles a Shark Typhoon. X3, making a shark. They got a lot of damage. They play a Stoneforge. Probably gets Feast and Famine plays and equips, I'd imagine. Yep, Sword of Feast and Famine. There it is, they play it. They equip. So pro black and green, they get in for a bunch. Get to untap all their lands, we're forced to discard. At this point, Karn. Alright, we draw. Karn, Great Creator. Play Karn, Great Creator. Nothing we could really wish for at this point, though, which is a problem. We could animate Sword of Feast and Famine. We could almost wish for Ensnaring Bridge, but unfortunately that's not going to work here. So, okay. So we're going to bring in Veil of Summer, and we're going to bring in Wilt. I'm going to go down Wormcoil Engines. They're really bad versus a deck with Path to Exiles. Like, Thragtusk is better versus Path than Wormcoil. But Thragtusk still is not great versus our opponent's deck. We're going to bring in Veil of Summer because I don't have Cavern of Souls. The list I was originally looking at had caverns. I think 2 caverns in the side to help force through some of the big threats, but okay, this is not a keepable hand. We're going to mulligan. We have Tron and a Chromatic Star, no other threats. I'm going to keep, and I'm going to put, I'm going to put back O-Stone, actually. Okay, start Power Plant, play Chromatic Star, pass the turn. So Chromatic Star here can crack for black to save us 2 life if our opponent plays a Stoneforge Mystic. Alternatively, we can use it to just try and draw. I'll play an Expedition Map. That could get us to Ulamog quickly. Pass the turn. Opponent plays an island. They don't have a Stoneforge Mystic. Alright, we'll wait. Draw Ancient Stirrings. So play Tower. Crack for green. Draw a card. We get a Veil of Summer. Ancient Stirrings. We can get through a mana leak here. We can no longer play Karn Liberated. Karn Great Creator does get mana leaked, though. I'm kind of tempted to just take Sanctum in here, but we're going to try for the Great Creator. If he resolves, it's pretty great. Okay. Wish for Liquid Metal Coating. If my opponent just doesn't have counter spells here, that's fantastic. Play Liquid Metal Coating. Okay, opponent opts for a counter on this. Oh, they just run out Snapcaster. Alright, well. Stop on my opponent's upkeep. Take them off of a land. We do have a Dismember, so our opponent cannot Field of Ruin. Attack for 2 at Karn. We untap. They're probably going to field the tower on our draw step. So we're going to float the mana, dismember, crack, get a tower. We do get a forest out of the deal, which means our next threat is going to be uncounterable. Opponent gets another island, play a tower, blow up a land. Okay, pass the turn. If our opponent has a bounce spell, we have Veil of Summer. They play a Scalding Tarn. And they pass. We untap. We draw O-Stone. Play a forest. Argent Mutation and Island, basically. Take out the island. And yeah, we're not going to do anything else. Just pass. But a cracked Scalding Tarn. Gets an island. Flashes in a Snapcaster Mage, sure. Karn currently out of range of being attacked by that. They have another field. That is frustrating. We get another forest. Okay. Can't do anything else with the mana. When it gets in at Karn for 2, it's possible I should have played O-Stone there and just like put a counter on Karn. Okay, we draw Karn Liberated. So take out a land. Play O-Stone. Pass the turn. When it goes to combat, kills Karn. That's fine. So if we draw another tower, our opponent is done for. We draw a power plant. That gives us 6 mana. Okay. I'll pass the turn. Opponent has top decked so many lands. Alright. They get in for 2. Put a Fate counter on Liquid Metal Coating. Untap. Draw another Karn. Pass the turn. Yeah. I'm sorry for not making the O-Stone play, I didn't see that. When it gets in for 2, takes us to 12. And they play another Hallowed Fountain tapped. We untap. Draw Ancient Stirrings, so cast Ancient Stirrings. If we get our last forest, we can play a Karn next turn, potentially. Yeah. We'll take the land. Rest of the bottom, any order. Play forest, pass the turn. Okay, opponent plays a Flooded Strand, attacks for 2. Sure. Take 2, go to 10. Opponent plays a Stoneforge Mystic. Okay, see what they tutor up. Sword, Feast, and Famine. We're gonna crack O-Stone now. Okay. Untap, land any land. Sylvan Scrying. That technically works. Play Sylvan Scrying. This will force a counter from our opponent, which hopefully Veil of Summer is enough to deal with. Okay. Opponent tries a Force of Negation, we Veil of Summer. Okay. Can't be countered. Get a tower. Play a tower. Ulamog. Take out 2 lands. And our opponent concedes. Perfect. Any last adjustments we want to make, knowing what our opponent's doing? I think Nature's Claim might actually be better than Dismember. Because, like, Snapcaster, dismembering a Snapcaster feels bad, or a Stoneforge, but Nature's Claim actually kills the things that matter, like the equipment and Batterskull, which is only vaguely associated with equipment in my mind. Okay, I'm not going to keep that. This might work, but given our opponent's proclivity to draw Field of Ruin, you know what? I think we have to keep this, actually. We're going to put back O-Stone. We're going to go maximum artifact cantrips here. Let's rock. Opponent starts Scalding Tarn. We draw Ancient Stirrings, which is a pretty good draw. We're going to play Chromatic Star. Chromatic Star is something that, if it gets destroyed while on board, is better than Chromatic Sphere. Opponent has an opt. Thankful it's not a Spell Pierce. But Spell Pierce on Chromatic Star is not that threatening. Actually, it might be super threatening, because I think that would indicate my opponent has nothing but counter spells. Okay, opponent plays an island. We draw Sylvan Scrying. Crack for green, draw a card. Get a second tower. Ancient Stirrings. Get a mine. Opponent does let that resolve, which is very nice for us. Play mine. We will play another star. Pass the turn. Opponent has a field. They hit our tower. We're turning off auto yields here. Get a forest. I'm going to crack Chromatic Star at my opponent's end step now. It is nice when you play Tron and your opponent has to play scared of you assembling Tron. But since we have full-on green mana now, we can just get rid of this star. We don't need it to filter. We get a Ulamog. Okay, we untap. We draw another Expedition map. So Sylvan Scrying. Get a Power Plant. Play Power Plant. And we're going to play Chromatic Sphere, because that gives us the most chances to hit a threat that we can play off of our Tron next turn. Opponent has another field. They hit Power Plant, turn off auto yields, get another forest. Okay, they play Stoneforge Mystic, crack to draw a card. Okay, opponent reveals Sword. Sword is scary, and I'm kind of hoping that we can draw... That was weird. Kind of hoping we can draw Artifact Removal. That sort of works too. So, play Tower. Play Karn. Opponent needs to have Force, and they have it. Okay. Opponent probably would have forced an Expedition map. So I probably should have played Expedition map. But now they get to play and equip Sword of Feast and Famine, which is pretty good. Oh gosh, okay, they're going to Mystic Sanctuary, and they put Force of Negation on top of their deck. Okay, they play Sword, they equip Sword. They're going to make us discard, and I think we discard a map. We untap, they untap their lands. We draw a map. We'll try map, it resolves. Crack map, get Power Plant. Play Power Plant. Play Chromatic Sphere. Crack for green. Big Karn. Play map. Pass the turn. So if our opponent fields us again, we can cast Ulamog. They drew Force of Negation this turn, which is not a counterspell that can hit Ulamog. They're tapping out for a Batterskull. But all this means is they get to untap all their lands anyway. We're going to discard Karn here, because they're going to have Force of Negation. Maybe we discard Sanctum. No, we discard Karn. 100% discard Karn. Okay. We untap. We draw Thragtusk. So we play a Sanctum. Play Ulamog. If we try and exile Batterskull, they just pick it up and recast it. We are exiling Sword. Maybe we should exile a land. No, we're gonna make him do it. We are gonna sack Sanctum. And we're gonna grab another Ulamog. I'd be really surprised if my opponent doesn't pick up Batterskull here. They pick it up. We exile Sword. Ulamog resolves. That's good for us. Opponent paths. That isn't bad for us. That ensures we can cast Ulamog again next turn, unless our opponent has another Field of Ruin. Okay. Opponent passes. We draw Karn. Play Ulamog. Take out our opponent's white sources. Okay. They put Batterskull into play. And they float white mana, telling us they have another path to exile. We know they're holding Force of Negation. Okay. Get a forest. Pass the turn. Maybe Kozilek was better, just to get the card draw. Opponent plays a tap land. So we know our opponent's hand is Force of Negation, one unknown. We untap, we draw another Karn. So use Power Plant, crack map, get a tower. Play a tower. Play Karn. This gets countered. Yep. Okay, play Thrag Daddy. Swag Tusk. Gain 5 life, go to 14. Opponent opts. They attack. We will block. Get a beast. We untap. Draw Sylvan Scrying. Karn. Opponent hit another Force of Negation. Okay. Sylvan Scrying. Get a Blast Zone. Play Blast Zone. Pass the turn. No attacks. Opponent does nothing. We're going to put Blast Zone on 5. Okay, Ancient Stirrings. Kozilek. Alright, rest of the bottom any order. Play Kozilek, draw 4 cards. Opponent needs another answer. Okay, they counter it, which puts it back in the grave, shuffles a bunch of good cards back into our deck, and then we can draw 4 hopefully good cards, of which Wilt is one of them. Kill Batterskull, Ancient Stirrings, take Chromatic Sphere, and pass the turn. Actually, at this point, we start attacking. I think out of that, our opponent needed to let us draw 4 cards and then counter Kozilek. I don't think it would have made it didn't make too much of a difference here, but it could have been absolutely backbreaking, because now we have 2 Ulamogs we can draw again. In fact, we can Sylvan Scrying for Sanctum of Ugin, play something else big, and get Ulamog. Okay, opponent plays Teferi Time Raveler. Unsummons our beast and draws a card. No reason for them not to attack, so they get in for 1. We untap. We draw Ugin. Eugene, as he is otherwise known. How much mana do we have? 10, 11, 15? Okay. Play Ugin. Oh, I should have Sylvan Scryinged for Sanctum first, but I didn't think of that. Okay. -3. Play Chromatic Sphere. Sylvan Scrying. Get Sanctum. Play Sanctum. Revealing our play mistake. And, you know what? We'll play O-Stone. Good to have it on board. Pass the turn. I'd say we're in a pretty good spot right now. Okay, opponent passes. We draw Urza's Mine. Crack for green, draw a card. It's a Veil of Summer. Play Urza's Mine. Tick up Ugin. Shoot our opponent. Pass the turn. Well, if our opponent tries to bounce Ugin, they're going to be very sad. Opponent plays a Field of Ruin. They might just field the power plant here. They wouldn't do too much. They're better off fielding Sanctum, I think. Yep. Okay, they field Sanctum. So we put a Fate counter on Ugin. Big play mistake. This game would already be over if I had done the right thing there. So, hopefully... Okay, opponent plays a Stoneforge Mystic. See if they get anything out of this. They fail to find. Okay. We untap. Draw Nature's Claim. Shoot down Stoneforge. Pass the turn. We untap. We draw Power Plant. Play a Power Plant so we have redundant pieces of Tron. Shoot our opponent. Pass the turn. Opponent attempts a Cryptic Command, so we counter the Cryptic Command by giving it no legal targets. Opponent does not get to draw. Very important thing to remember with Cryptic Command. If you choose any mode and bounce target permanent, and that permanent becomes no longer legal, you lose the whatever other mode on Cryptic Command, because Cryptic Command technically has no legal targets. I have walked into that many times casting Cryptic Commands, and have learned from it brutally, so may my experience and our opponent's experience here teach you. Alright, cool. Porter came downstairs to tell me it is time for bed. So I'm going to call it here and finish this in the morning. But I hope this is going quite well. We've been getting good situations. I feel like the commentary has been very good, and I hope I can continue this into the morning. So, all right, I will see you all then. For me, it is a whole night. For you, it's going to be about now. Alrighty, good morning, everybody. See, I told you it'd be pretty quick. Let's hope we can keep the good commentary rolling. I'm only halfway through my coffee, and but I feel like I slept pretty good, so. Round 4, Monogreen Tron. Let's do this. So our opponent is on the play. We're on the draw. Yeah, this is a good opener. So we do have Chromatic Sphere, 2 Tron lands, Ancient Stirrings. That's basically Tron. It's not guaranteed Tron, but it's pretty close. Alright, opponent starts Island, Serum Visions. They could be Storm, they could be Control, they could be Phoenix, who knows. Okay, we draw Chromatic Star, play Chromatic Sphere, pass the turn. Opponent plays a Sulphur Falls, and a Baral, Chief of Compliance. Okay, we draw a Tower, crack for green, draw Karn, play Chromatic Sphere, play Tower, crack for green, Ancient Stirrings, just trying to get the most looks at a mine. We get a mine, pass the turn. Alright, well, we will assemble turn 3 Tron, but our opponent might have the turn 3 Storm kill here. If you're playing against Storm, you basically cannot let your opponent untap on turn 3 with a cost reducer. Otherwise, you're going to lose. Oh, and opponent had the additional red mana. I was going to say, it doesn't look like with that pieces of the puzzle play, they're actually going to be able to win. Empty the Warrens. So we can go get Amulet of Safekeeping, and we're safe from Empty and safe from Grapeshot. Opponent attacks us for 1. We draw Expedition Map, play Urza's Mine, play Karn, down tick. We will use its ability, get Amulet of Safekeeping, play Amulet, play Chromatic Star, pass the turn. So that should protect us from Grapeshot and from Empty the Warrens for at least a turn while we get some other stuff online here. Opponent casts a Ritual and a Pieces of the Puzzle. They only got a Serum Visions off of that Pieces of the Puzzle. Opponent does not appear to be a very lucky Storm player. So they're still holding a Serum Visions. They're floating 2 red. They get 8 at Karn for 1. Karn goes to 2. We draw an Expedition Map. So we can go up to 10 mana. Players is Tower. Play Karn. Take Baral. Yeah, I'm not going to Wish with Karn. We're not going to animate anything either. Play Expedition Map. Go ahead and go get probably Sanctum of Ugin. Pass the turn. So if we draw something big, we can just end the game. Sanctum of Ugin is so strong. And as one of my last games shows you, like, definitely worth tutoring for. Because I really messed that up. Okay, opponent just hard casts a Pieces of the Puzzle. They put Baral, Reading Pool, and Serum Visions into their grave, so they're holding these 3 cards. And tap, we draw Ugin. So, Wish with Karn. We will get Liquimetal Coating. Play Liquimetal Coating. Uptick Karn. Play Sanctum. Play Map. Play Ugin. Sack Sanctum. Go get Ulamog. I think we can -0. Yep. Cool. So note to self, you don't have to -1 Ugin to kill tokens that are colored. So Germ tokens off of Batterskull, Empty the Warrens tokens, etc. Oh, hang on. I forgot to turn one of my opponent's lands into a artifact. Oh well. Next turn, we're going to blow up all of their lands, and plus Karn. Okay, opponent has cast every card we know about. Probably concedes after this, because I don't think there's a single way they could actually get out of this. Not unless they're playing Rite of Flame, which of course isn't legal. Good work, opponent. An Amulet of Safekeeping out of the sideboard, got him. Okay, so Let's see. We could bring in and main deck the Grafdigger's Cage and Relic, because it would be good to just have some Grave Hate. But I think a lot of that needs to stay on the sideboard. I think Emrakul is better than Kozilek. If we actually cast Emrakul, we can just storm off and kill our opponent with their own storm. Wormcoil is not that great. So I'm going to cut 2 Wormcoil. I'm actually going to bring in Veil of Summer because it can counter Gifts Ungiven, which means they literally just can't go off. Unless they have the Empty the Warren style hand where they draw a million cards or they just play. Okay, hang on. Our opponent is playing pieces of the puzzle. I actually don't think my opponent is playing gifts. So I'm going to bring in Grafdigger's Cage and Relic just to have in the main deck. Relic at least cantrips. We're going to leave Amulet of Safekeeping, Trinisphere in the sideboard because those are good targets to wish for with Karn. Also, obviously leaving in Dismember. It is unlikely we will need Nature's Claim or Wilt, considering most of the cards that we would want to Nature's Claim or Wilt would be better for us than our opponent. So because I'm thinking Damping Sphere. Storm can't run Damping Sphere, obviously, because it's symmetrical. But this is okay, but we're going to mulligan. 3 towers, map Karn. Opponent does mulligan to 5. On a mulligan to 5, I'll keep this hand. Put back a tower. We draw a Tron piece, we have Natural Tron. Natural Tron into Trinisphere. Okay. Opponent starts Steam Vents, untapped. Cast the Serum Visions. Put a card on the bottom and a card on the top. We untap, we draw a Power Plant. There it is. Play Expedition Map. I mean, we had an 8 out of 54 chance of drawing a Tron land there, which pretty high chance. Okay, opponent Manamorphose. Yeah, as long as they don't play a cost reducer this turn and they don't draw one next turn, we should be in fantastic shape. They put 2 cards on top. That is not comforting. We untap, we draw another Expedition Map, play Power Plant, pass the turn. We will be tutoring up mine, provided we don't die this turn. And there's just nothing else we can do because we have nothing else we can cast. Okay, opponent plays a Scalding Tarn. Activate map. Get mine. Untap. Draw O-Stone. Play mine. Play Karn. Opponent could have a remand here. Yep. Okay. That does set us back a turn. We could play O-Stone, which would just completely invalidate all the tokens our opponent has. We're already holding another tower, so there's really no reason to play map here. If our opponent could interrupt Tron somehow, maybe map would be better, but Storm does not usually run land destruction effects. If I get Volcanic Awakening, I'm probably losing anyway. For those of you who don't know what Volcanic Awakening is, it's 6 mana Stone Rain with the Storm keyword. And it is modern legal. Last I checked, anyway. Okay, opponent plays a land. They pass. We draw O-Stone. Play Tower. Play Karn. They remand Karn again. Play Karn. They crack Flooded Strand. I mean, if our opponent has 3 remands and then is drawing all the correct cards to go off with Storm, then I guess I have to let them. We're gonna Wish. And because we only have 2 mana and need to play something this turn, I don't know if Liquid Metal Coating is enough to interrupt them potentially. I think Amulet of Safekeeping is, well, safer. So play Amulet of Safekeeping. Pass the turn. Next turn we'll wish for a Trinisphere. Opponent seems to be a bit flooded. We could animate an O-Stone. But I think Trinisphere will be better. The good thing about Storm is it doesn't usually run hard counters. All the Storm players run Remand because of the whole Grape Shot, Remand, Grape Shot line. I guess Empty the Warrens, Remand, Empty the Warrens could also be a thing. It's just not as likely. Alright, let's wish. Get Trinisphere. Play Trinisphere. On a cracked Scalding Tarn. It's a mountain. 4 mana. Gifts Ungiven. Well, counter it unless they pay 1. They are playing Gifts Ungiven. Let's see what they tutor up here. I've not played a land yet this turn, so I'm going to play a Forest and Ancient Stirrings. Hopefully we can hit our Grave Hate. We can dump the important spells into the grave. Ancient Grudge. Manamorphose, Past in Flames. Okay, we're going to dump Ancient Grudge, and we're going to dump Past in Flames. We're going to dump Manamorphose, actually. We don't want them filtering too much mana. Okay. If we hit Grave Hate here, it's over. We get Karn, we could wish an additional time. I don't think it's worth it. Take Ulamog. Rest at the bottom, any order. Play map. Pass the turn. So next turn, our opponent has to spend 3 mana on flashing back an Ancient Grudge, and then they have a Desperate Ritual and Fast in Flames in hand. So they'd have to be holding multiple rituals to go off. And yeah, no, they would just have to have multiple rituals to go off. It's possible I should have put Desperate Ritual into the grave, but I felt like giving them a higher variance play of drawing an additional card while they're storming is probably not worth it. So opponent takes out Trinisphere, plays Baral. Well, if any hand does it, it's now. They ritual. They had another one. So this probably kills us. Because they're going to find another Ancient Grudge of some effect. Okay, they Manamorphose. Double blue. They still... Well, I mean, they do have to find some sort of removal for Amulet of Safekeeping. Okay, they Manamorphose again. More blue mana. So imagine they Desperate Ritual and then Gifts. They repeal. Well, if they get the Grape Shot kill, then they get the Grape Shot kill. Okay, they're currently 1 mana short from killing us with Grape Shot. Unless they're holding another Grape Shot. Ah, never mind, they can remand it. I was thinking they would have to do something strange, like full price of Past in Flames out of the grave. But, nope, that does kill us. Okay. That's the case. Veil of Summer does increase in value, and it's better than, like, Wormcoil Thragtusk. So yeah, we'll run it like that. Veil of Summer will block Repeal, prevent them from drawing a card. It will also block remands, and Gifts Ungiven. Alright, Natural Tron, let's go. I mean, that's all you have to do to play Tron, is just have Natural Tron Karn. Our backup plan, not as good, but it does still exist. So, like, if for some reason Natural Tron into Karn Liberated doesn't work, we do have, on the play, we do have Forest Ancient Stirrings to follow up. Play Power Plant, play map, pass the turn. Okay, opponent untaps, plays a Flooded Strand, passes. We draw Sanctum, play Tower, get Mine. Opponent cracks Flooded Strand for an island of some kind. Okay, get Mine. Cool. Pass the turn. Our opponent doesn't have a cost reducer here, and doesn't have a remand. It's game over. Okay, it looks like they have a remand, but we don't have a way to play around this. So, Karn. Yep. Okay, nothing we could have done about that, so pass. Opponent, if they have another red source, can go cost reducer, red source, ritual, Manamorphose, and win the game, probably. Serum Visions, okay. That is not that line I mentioned. So I think they're looking for a land. It's the only thing I can think that would force them to do this. If they have a Ceremonious Rejection or a Spell Pierce, Karn will actually be quite fragile. If we top deck a Tron land of any kind, we get around Spell Pierce. 2 cards on top, and they play a land. Manamorphose, Opt, Serum Visions. So they drew both cards, they scryed to the top, and we untap. We draw Dismember. We could play Karn, nuke a land, and hold up Dismember, I guess. It's probably one of our better lines. So, yeah. Play Forest. Play Karn. Take out the blue-red source, and pass. So if our opponent tries to go, like, land, Baral, ritual, we just dismember Baral in response to a ritual. Okay, opponent opts. They play a Steam Vents, and they play an Electromancer. That is getting dismembered. We untap. We draw Thragtusk. So if we Ancient Stirrings and we hit a tower, we can play Ulamog and just end the game. Unfortunately, we do not. At this point, we just take a Forest and cast Thragtusk, I think. Rest to the bottom, any order. We are going to downtick Karn. Limiting our opponent's mana here is critical. Next turn, we can Sanctum of Ugin, Ulamog, and then have a backup Ulamog, I guess. Okay, opponent opts. They play a snow-covered island and a Baral. We untap, draw Chromatic Star, play Sanctum, play Ulamog, exiling here and here. We will sack Sanctum, and we will get another Ulamog. Go to combat, attack for 5. One swing from Ulamog theoretically wins the game because our opponent likely cannot storm after losing half their library permanently, but that's not guaranteed. Okay. Play Blast Zone. Go to combat. Attack for a lot. Take a look at what we exiled. There's a Grape Shot there. His opponent does have to chump Ulamog, and they concede. Sweet! We're guaranteed a treasure chest. Alright, I'll see you guys in round 5. Round 5, here we go. I've consumed all of my coffee. Finally. Just one Tron land map. If we draw a Tron land of anything except a mine, we have Tron. We're on the draw. This is really tempting. There's a lot of ways it could go wrong. I'm gonna mulligan to 6. This is a lot worse. I'm gonna go to 5. Alright, 2 Tron lands, Chromatic Star, I'm willing to keep at this point. I'm going to put back both Ugins. Okay, let's see what our opponent's on. Nurturing Peatland. This is probably Death Shadow. We get Inquisitioned and they take our Chromatic Star, which is pretty disheartening. We untap, draw Karn Liberated, play a mine. Okay, let me draw a Power Plant. Opponent plays a Mishra's Bauble. Looks at the top card of our deck. They traverse the Ulvenwald, get a swamp, and Thoughtseize. Well, we have 3 good threats versus our opponent's deck. Take Karn Great Creator, likely because they are afraid of a Chalice on 1. Draw another Karn Liberated, we pray to the Tron gods. Draw me that Power Plant, please. It's like a 1 in 13.25 chance. So what does that actually equate to? 14 out of 53? Ancient Stirrings, we can't cast it. Pass the turn. Our opponent does not seem to be running blue, or just hasn't drawn any blue mana. Chromatic Star would be good, so would Chromatic Sphere. Obviously, so would the Tron land we're looking for. Opponent attacks for 3, takes us to 17. We untap. Draw Kozilek, pass the turn. So had we gotten to keep this Chromatic Star, we would have been able to Ancient Stirrings. Kind of depends on how much life our opponent can lose this turn, and whether or not they have a Tamer Battle Rage. Looks like our opponent's cracking their land to draw a card. We're still drawing live to a Power Plant. Opponent dismembers their own Tarmogoyf so they can get in for 10. Okay, it's Power Plant or bust. Yep. Okay. Well, Power Plant did not come through. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Even had we Ancient Stirrings, we wouldn't have got there. Alright, well. So, versus our opponent's deck, I want Veil of Summers in. Then, there's some possibility they do run Damping Sphere, so I probably need at least like a Wilt in the deck. I'm gonna drop Kozilek, and actually Dismembers are not great. We'll bring in a Wilt. Cool. Run this back. Alright, we'll play first. That hand is not fast enough. We're going to 6. If we draw another Tron land, it's great. If we don't, it's not. But we have 3 Chromatic Stars and a Sylvan Scrying. Opponent likely has Hand Hate. They did mulligan, though. I want to keep, and I have to put back Ugin. Like, we need as many early action spells as we can possibly get, and odds are we're going to draw something. So, opponent is mulligan to 5. They are looking for something. Okay, they keep 5. So we'll start Mine Chromatic Star. Pass the turn. Kind of hoping to draw a Tower or Power Plant, and then Sylvan Scrying for the other. Might be wistful thinking here, because our opponent probably is going to Thoughtseize or Inquisition us. They don't. We draw Arn Liberated. So let's crack for green. See what we draw. Tower. Sylvan Scrying, get Power Plant. We did it! Now we just have to dodge a Thoughtseize and an Assassin's Trophy. Inquisition will not do it. When it takes Chromatic Star, plays a Bloodstained Mire. We untap, play Power Plant, play Karn, nuke a land. Pass the turn. Opponent could have a Bolt. Probably does. Us having Blast Zone is nice if they play Death Shadow. It's something they can't Thoughtseize. They take Chromatic Sphere, they crack Bloodstain Mire, they get a Blood Crypt, untapped, they go to 9 and play Death Shadow. So we untap, we draw Wormcoil Engine, plus on our opponent's hand, get Temur Battle Rage, play Blast Zone, destroy all 1-drops, play map, pass the turn. We're in a pretty good spot now. Opponent could have a Dreadbore or a Terminate. I think that would be one of their best draws here. They play Nurturing Peatland, and they sack it, which is a pretty brave move when your opponent has Stone Rain on a stick. They concede. Alright, opponent was playing to their outs, so can't fault him for that. Okay, I don't think we make any adjustments. I think we just have to have another game like that, where we very quickly assemble Tron, through a bunch of hand hate, and then like top deck a threat we can play. That's basically the plan. And we're on the draw, so it's worse. Did you notice our opponent did not have turn 1 hand hate and we won? So we're kind of in a similar situation with this hand. If we can top deck a different Tron land in the top 2 cards, we're golden. If we can top deck any land in the top 2 cards, we're kind of okay. With this particular hand, an opponent is heavily considering mulliganing. I think whether or not my opponent mulligans, this hand is too fragile. Because if they Thoughtseize us and take Chromatic Star, we're probably just dead in the water. We're gonna mulligan. Alright, we can keep this. I'm gonna put back Thragtusk. We do have 2 Tron lands into a Sylvan Scrying, but we are almost certainly losing our Chromatic Sphere or Sylvan Scrying. So we have to hope to top deck whatever our opponent takes, basically. So if I was my opponent, if they take Chromatic Sphere off of an Inquisition or a Thoughtseize, odds are higher that we would draw... Oh, they don't have it. They get a Swamp off of Traverse the Ulvenwald. Alright, well, we're threatening a turn 3 Karn, followed up by a Wormcoil Engine, or vice versa. Opponent plays a Verdant Catacombs, just play a Goyf. Just play a Goyf. It's a Goyf. You used to be the best dude in Modern. It's a Goyf. Alright, we untap. We draw the tower. Players is mine. Crack for green, see what we draw. Karn Great Creator. Let's go get a backup tower. We could get Blast Zone, but got a feeling my opponent might have an Assassin's Trophy. Opponent plays a Blood Crypt. Plays a Death Shadow. Assassin's Trophy is the mine, which was the only one we couldn't deal with. Actually, drawing the tower, we probably should have gotten a mine, just for that reason. Alright, well, cycle. Tower number 3. And this is how we die. Opponent got lucky, did not nuke the power plant. But I think even had they done that, we still would be dead here. They play a Seal of Fire. We were 1 damage off of lethal, they have 2 cards in hand. We go to 1. We draw a Veil of Summer. We needed to draw the last Tron land and play Wormcoil. It was basically the only way we could win. And we didn't. So, unfortunately, we finish with a 3-2 finish. Now, I could have grabbed a different land off of Sylvan Scrying. It was probably correct to do so. But I'm not an expert player for Tron. I do understand some of the lines. But we did get a treasure chest, and as is tradition, we are going to open our treasure chest. We get 25 play points, so we make back our treasure chest's value, approximately. And we also get a Sawtusk Demolisher, which I don't think is worth anything. But yeah. Alright, so if you guys enjoyed this content, let me know. I would appreciate your feedback. Feedback on commentary, feedback on deck choice, feedback on format, anything is fine. There will be more limited content coming. It's just, today I did Constructed, and there will be more Constructed content, including some jank modern content, which I'm looking forward to. I'd like to get around to making some budget content, because I know a lot of weird decks that are probably not that expensive. So, Anyway, let me know what you think. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you have the time, leave a like, drop a comment, I'll respond. Subscribe to the channel if you're so inclined, and you can always follow me on Twitch, same username on there as you can find me on here. I stream 6 p.m. Mountain Time, which is 8 p.m. Eastern on Wednesdays, so I hope to see you there. We've been having a lot of people from YouTube head over to Twitch lately, and the Twitch viewership was very good for the last stream, so I hope you all enjoy, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!